Yeah, so it's definitely rainy out. It started raining for last night and it's been raining all day today, which really sucks. At least we get some rain sometimes. Unfortunately, because it's so cold as well, this message comes up that regenerative braking is temporarily reduced because it just, I don't actually know the reason why, but if you know the reason why, please comment down below. I'd actually love to know why that whenever it gets cold, the regenerative braking gets reduced. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're actually gonna go from downtown Los Angeles to Beverly Hills, and it's actually raining out, so we're gonna see some variables on this Autopilot drive, and it's Friday, and it's gonna be rush hour. So let's see how Autopilot does in today's drive. Let's get into the video. All right, so let's get on the highway. Hopefully this camera angle is a-okay. Thanks for watching another video, guys. If you're new here, my name is Dennis. I have a Tesla Model 3 and a Nissan GTR, and I make videos about my experience. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. And if you like Autopilot videos like this, I have a ton on my channel, so please check them out. And also please hit that like, it really helps the channel out. All right, so we're just on the highway now. We're going about 64 miles an hour. You can see there's definitely some traffic, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw it into Autopilot. So we're in Autopilot. Cruise control set speeding is 54 miles per hour. In terms of the conditions out, you can see it's rainy, it's cloudy. There is a little bit of sunlight, but it's 52 degrees, so it's pretty cold as well. For Los Angeles, it's cold for Los Angeles. So we are on the 10 West, I think, or we're going to the 10 West. So this is a highway ramp going to the right. The windshield wipers are on automatic as well, or autopilot. It's a pretty sharp turn to the right. Autopilot is kind of turning in and then turning out a little bit. It's slowing down now. It's making beeps because it wants to get into the left lane. So let's go ahead and trigger the auto lane change. And pretty good. There's a Prius in front of us. Autopilot didn't really brake until that last second there when the Prius broke. So it got pretty darn close. Now Autopilot is just slow right now. It wants to get into the left lane, but it also doesn't want to speed up to close this gap. So I'm just gonna go ahead and trigger the auto lane change again into the left lane, and pretty easily. In terms of what operating system or update this is 2020.48.35.5 versus 10.2, and this is the latest update as of this recording. So we're going about 54 miles an hour now. I'm going to increase that to probably like 75. It does seem like there's a good amount of open highway here. It looks like all the traffic is coming the opposite direction, so not on this side. There's a little bit of braking here. I'm not sure what Autopilot is doing. It wants to get into the left lane again, so let's go ahead and hit that auto lane change. And there's really no one in that lane, so we're pretty much good to go. Interestingly enough, there is water on the rear camera here, so I guess that will maybe hopefully not affect the camera so that you can see the cars behind us. We're going about 55 miles an hour, and I guess the Autopilot system changed my speed down to 55, so I'm going to go ahead and increase that to 70 because that should be about the speed we're going on these Los Angeles highways. And now the Autopilot system, for a split second there, wanted to go into the left lane again, but it looks like it decided to cancel its own self. The Autopilot system wants to get into the left lane again, so let's go ahead and trigger that. And pretty good. There's really no one in that lane as well, so it's pretty easy. Looks like there's a little bit of braking in front of us. There is water on our windshield, but the auto wiper system hasn't cleared it yet. Autopilot wants to get into the left lane again, but I can see that there's cars in that lane and my lane is more open, so it looks like it just canceled that request as well. So we are driving along pretty smoothly, going about 67 on a 70 miles per hour cruise control. Autopilot keeps trying to want to go into the left lane and then canceling that action, so I'm just gonna stay in this lane because I don't think we need to really get into that lane. In terms of the wipers, it's not necessarily going as fast as one would probably hope. It does let a little bit of water on the windshield a little bit before it starts to clear it. A little bit of braking right there. Not too jerky. It looks like some cars are stopping in the right lanes ahead of us. We have another 2.5 miles to go before we get off the exit, and then it's going to be pretty much all local stop sign, traffic light on the way there. So we'll see how Autopilot does in that section of this drive. Autopilot wants to now get into the right lane, but I can see that there's cars merging from the right, so it probably won't make sense to do that because it might slow us down even more. But it probably wants to get into the right lane because of the exit that's coming up in 1.8 miles. But we should probably be fine staying in this lane because it's a little bit faster than the right lanes. A little bit of braking right there as that Porsche left our lane. And Autopilot just still does this. After all these updates, it still really slows down once a car leaves our lane. It doesn't necessarily close the gap in front of you, between the car in front of you and you. It really takes it really conservatively, so hopefully I would like to see that in the newer updates, that it would be a little bit more aggressive in closing that gap in front of you. The exit is now coming up in 0.9 miles, so I'm going to go ahead and trigger the auto lane change to the right. The lane was pretty empty right there, so easy for the Autopilot system to do that. There are some cars. There's a car coming up on the right from the on-ramp, but it looks like they're not necessarily going to affect us. Besides that, there's really no merge here. Autopilot's detecting that the lanes are merging together and it's not braking or doing anything crazy, so we're pretty much good to go until we get to the exit. Our lane change wants to get into the right lane again. It looks like that's the exiting lane, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it on. No cars in that lane, so we're pretty much good to go there. Looks like we're pretty much going to stay in this lane until we get out the exit, but it looks like on the navigation, looks like that there's a right turn after that, so Autopilot's probably going to kick off, and then I'm going to have to re-engage it again after we get onto the local roads. It's like navigating on Autopilot just turned itself off, and it says we're stopping for a traffic light in 400 feet. Let's figure out which lane it's going to go. Okay, at the last minute, it decided that we're going to get into the right lane, and now it's going to slowly come to a stop at this traffic light. Okay, perfect. So I think it's going to stop pretty much here. I'm going to have to kick it off of Autopilot, make this right turn, and then throw it back onto Autopilot on the local roads. This is where it really differs from the new full self-driving beta Elon's release update and the full self-driving capability update that I have. I don't get the crazy UI that everybody else has. So stopping at our first traffic light, it detected it pretty easily. It shows that it's red, and then it's going to come to a complete stop. I think what's most likely going to happen is once this light turns to a green, I'm going to have to give it that confirmation to go through this light, whether by hitting down on this control stalk or hitting the accelerator. So it looks like the light turned green, and I just hit the accelerator and it proceeded through the light. Cruise control setting here, it looks like it automatically turned down to 35 miles an hour, and we're going about 33 miles an hour. It's being a little hesitant at these lights. It looks like it braked a little bit, and then I gave it the gas confirmation to go through, or accelerator confirmation to go through. Looks like it braked again. I guess it detected that light, but then it just decided to stop. Now it looks like it pinged me again that there's another light coming up, asking me to confirm that it's a green light. It's doing it again. I'm just tapping the accelerator again, and it's giving that constant confirmation to go through these lights. It's actually pretty annoying to drive on Autopilot through local city roads, especially when there's back-to-back-to-back lights like there was back there. It looks like this traffic light, it can go through pretty easily without confirmation, so that was pretty interesting there. We're still going about 35 miles an hour. I'm going to increase that to 40 miles an hour to match some of the traffic around us. It's staying in this lane pretty well, I would say. It's shifting kind of back and forth, but pretty centered. It sees these lights and even though they're off, it still kind of hesitantly brakes a little bit and proceeds through. Now there's a light right here that's red, and it should come to a complete stop slowly. Okay, so light turned green. I tapped on the accelerator to give it that confirmation, and it proceeded through the light really easily. Looks like there's another light coming in front of us. That just turned from red to green. So let's see how Autopilot handles it. Is it going to ask me for the accelerator, or it's just going to go right through easily? So I guess sometimes it doesn't really know what's going on, or it wants your double confirmation, and sometimes it knows exactly what's going on and then just proceeds to the light. I've yet to run into a situation where it's red and it completely just goes through. That, for sure, it will just completely stop. There's some cars in front of us that are pretty much slowed down, so Autopilot is going to slow down. It's already detected this light in front of us, and we shall see what it's going to do, really. Looks like it's accelerating slowly and no confirmation needed. It hesitated a little bit there, but then it decided at the last second that it was just going to go through. The area that we're in right now is Beverly Hills, I think, basically. But we just got off the highway and we're headed our way to kind of that Beverly Hills area. Okay, so Tesla's accelerating right now. There's an intersection here. Looks like it's going to be able to make it through this intersection pretty easily. So really the two different ways to see if someone has the new Autopilot, Elon's release beta, or this version, this older version, is really just the UI screen right here. On the new ones, it's like crazy neon lights and dots and indicators on the screen, whereas the old one is a little bit more refined. It's just your car with a white background and the lines of the road. Okay, so according to our navigation, it looks like we're going to make a left right here. So I'm going to kick it off autopilot and then make a left. Okay, so it looks like another straightaway, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it onto not autopilot. It looks like it hasn't detected the lanes yet. Blue steering wheel or gray steering wheel, and good. Yeah, so the way to tell if you can actually throw it into autopilot is if you'll see a gray steering wheel, and the other way to tell that if you are in autopilot is when the steering wheel turns blue. So autopilot is basically just stopping with these cars in front of us. So we're basically at our destination, or almost at our destination. So this is where I'm gonna go ahead and end it, guys. Thanks for watching another video. Please hit that like if you enjoyed it, and comment below on what you guys would like to see about the autopilot system, whether on local roads or highway, for full self-driving that I have or not. Thanks for watching another video. Please hit that like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.